CFO Gilberts, welcome to my live call today. I wanted to do this because we're getting closer to the new year, and in the past so many have talked about, would you please go over that 90-day plan that I wrote about in my book, Reaching the Peak, that's on Amazon, both in English and Spanish. So I'm going to talk about today your first 30 days. Your first 30 days in your 90-day plan. I was going to share with you just some of my notes and my experiences on a 90-day plan. Are 90-day plans in fashion in the times that we live right now? Everybody's got an opinion on that, right? You got some that say, oh, that's too much for people today. Well, you know what? When I did this 22 years ago, in my last company 22 years ago, people had the same viewpoints. Is that really in fashion today? I don't know. Here's the thing. If your house is burning down or you got a fire and you got to put it out, are you going to ask if running for a hose and taking all-out massive action is in fashion? No, you're going to do everything you can to put it out, right? If people are going through financial crisis and they need to take action, they got to do something. They got to open their mind to all possibilities that's going to fix it. Do they ask themselves, is that in fashion? Of course not. And we've seen so much economic upheaval, disruption, unlike any other experience probably since the Great Depression. And we're still not done with it because of COVID-19. So there's been so much disruption and destruction to business. Haven't seen anything like it since the Great Depression. So, and we're still not out of the woods. That's according to Biden too. That's what he says. Well, we're still not out of the woods. I think times are going to get rough. It's going to be dark. Boy, that's encouraging for the new guy taking office, isn't it? So the thing about it is, people are going to be looking for possibilities. They're going to have an open mind. And when they join you, what are you going to tell them? What do they need to do? Well, I would say, you know what? I would hit it hard for 90 days. If you hit it hard for 90 days, that's going to carry you for decades. Now, how can I say that? I can say that because it happened to me. Because 22 years ago, that's exactly what I did. 22 years ago, I said, when I joined my last company, I said, I'm going to hit this for 90 days. I'm going to hit it hard. Now, I do it for two reasons. And this is why I would always recommend it. Number one, you got to get your business moving. Success loves speed. Success has urgency. Number two, you have to create a story. A story. Years later, what are people going to ask you? What was your 90-day story like? Now, let me preface that, okay, too, because I understand some of you might have been in your companies for years. So you say, well, I missed the boat on that. My first 90 days is not a story. There wasn't anything that happened because I wasn't trained right, whatever. Okay, fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how long you've been in your company. You can always have a 90-day story where you're going to bust it out and go for it. Or if you're a person that, let's say, enrolled in your company, let's say you like the product, you were using the product, and so you might have, after 2 years of using that product, say, you know what, I think I'm going to do the business. That's when your story begins. It doesn't begin when you start using your product. We're talking about when you made a conscious decision to build your business, okay? So this is great for new people. This is great for people like yourself that made a conscious decision to build your business. And number three, for those of you that have been in your company for years, you can do a 90-day story. You can do a 90-day run, and then use that story to share with others your own experience of what you went through. Look at it like this. I mean, to me, everybody needs a 90-day challenge. You do from time to time, even if you are a leader and you're, let's say, just sort of stuck. You know what I'm talking about? You're just sort of stuck. And you might have experienced some success, but now you just don't know where to go with it. Well, this is what you need to do. There's no problem that new leadership won't fix in your business. There's no problem that new leadership won't fix in your business. Get that in your head. If you're not at the top rank or whatever rank you're shooting for, something that you're not at yet, okay? You're never going to get there without people. You're never going to get there without activity. You're never going to get there without enthusiasm or excitement. You've got to get excited. And you, by the way, you can share this training to your page so your other leaders might listen too. Because it's not just you. This is all about collaboration. Nobody does this alone. It's a team effort. There are no superheroes here, okay? It's a team effort. That's what's going to get you to a place you want to go. So when we think about, the 90-day run, we have to understand this too. Let's just say that you're 1 week before the new month. When does your 90 days begin? We're talking about 3 calendar months. So you can use that week before that first month to prepare. You can use it to prepare. You can use it to get started. But you want to have 3 full calendar months. Start January. We're coming up on January. This is the time to think about it. This is the time to prepare. And not just you, but let's go back to that. Why is a 90-day run, that burst of energy, why is it so important? Look at the space shuttle. I think it's a perfect example. It's an example of launching your business, because when the space shuttle gets going, it has 2 million pounds of fuel. That sucker is heavy. It's going to take a great burst of energy to use that fuel to escape gravity, because gravity's pulling it back, right? It's going to have to fight its way out of that. That's the same thing with you. If you want to escape gravity in your business, the things that distract you, that you allow to distract you, it's going to take a burst of energy. If you're a new person, you want to launch your business, it's a burst of energy. Here's what I want you to remember. The speed of the leader influences the speed of the team. It doesn't determine it, it influences. If you have urgency in your business, your people are going to have urgency. Show me somebody that doesn't have urgency in their business That's a broke person. They're not going anywhere. Their business is dead. I can remember when I started 22 years ago, here were the tools that I had. I had a phone and I had a list on my desk 22 years ago. I did not own a computer. We did not have the tools that you have presently. We did not have social media. We did not have Zoom calls. We didn't have a lot. So I want you to understand that it's not so much your strategies or your skill set that makes this work. What makes this work is your beliefs. Because they buy you before they buy your opportunity. They buy you before they buy your product. Essentially, you're selling you. That might scare some of you, maybe because you don't have that confidence. But let me ask you this. Do you have belief in the company that you're in? Do you have belief in the product that you're in? Does it fire you up? Do you find incredible value that people really need this? I mean, if that won't move you, I promise you, you're in the wrong company. You better find the right company because time is ticking and January 1 is coming up. But if you do have those feelings, then just understand this. This business is 90% attitude, 10% skill set knowledge. And people get it in reverse. It's like 10% attitude knowledge, and 90% or 90% goes to skill set, where 10% goes to emotional intelligence, how you feel about it. You got to get it reversed. People want to come in this thing and be an expert because they're afraid of because of their egos. They're afraid of looking stupid. You cannot be great in this business and look good at the same time. You can't be great at this business and look good at the same time. You just can't do it. So the thing is, what we need to understand is that this, when I go back to my, again, phone, list, that was all I had when I started my first all my 90 days. Now this video is dedicated to the first 30 days. First 30 days is your foundational. That's where you lay a foundation. And then the following months are really going to make it grow, just like a foundation. A lot of work goes in the foundation. You wonder, when's this thing going to go up? And the next thing you know, it's shooting up so fast. But that foundational period, that first 30 days is so important. So important. But again, going back to the tools, the only tools I had back then was, again, other than a telephone, was a hotline. We had a hotline about the product, and then we did conference calling 3 times a day. Conference calling was our meetings. And so those were the only tools I had. I would give somebody the phone number, say, listen to that message. I'll call you back. I call them back. They say, oh, they got busy. I didn't have time. No problem. I love that message. You know what? Let me 3-way it in. I love to hear it. And I would 3-way them in. We listen to it together. And then I would say to that person, John, did you enjoy what you just heard? Yeah, great. Listen, how would you like to start? As a customer, or can you use extra money? I can use extra money. Everyone can. I said, great. Well, let's get your application filled out. Let's get it in, get your order on the way to you. We're going to have a lot of fun and make some money together, John. I look forward to working with you. People, we did not complicate this thing. We did not complicate it. I see people today, they want to send another training, another video, because they're afraid to ask them to join. I was not afraid. Why? Because again, I wanted to lift off just like the shuttle, get my business launched. I want to get it launched. I want to get it moving. I don't have time for that. And I don't want them to do it either, because keep in mind, when you're prospecting somebody, you're training them at the same time. Whatever you're doing, you're asking them to do. If it's complicated, they won't do it. They're not going to join. So that's crucial. You know, when we think about it, even now, think about it. If you're in New York City and you're wanting to get to San Francisco, you have a choice, right? You could walk there, you can ride a bicycle, you can get on a train, you can drive, or you can get on a plane. We all have a choice. Most people that join a network marketing company walk. They either walk or they pedal. Why? Because the person that brought them in did not talk to them about a 90-day run, a burst of energy to launch their business and get it going. Or they got people in their downline that have been with them in their company maybe a year, and they're still just pedaling. They're on that bicycle, you know, wearing themselves out. And then finally they quit. I'm telling you, unless you have that burst of energy and you have these runs from time to time, or if you're just getting started, doing it for your first time, unless you do that, your business is going to run out of gas. It's going to run out of gas, and you're going to wonder, well, what the heck happened? What happened was nobody was having fun, because slow go is boring. It's boring. And people don't like boring things, and they don't like joining companies that are boring. They don't like joining teams that are boring. The beauty of a 90-day run is it's exciting because things are always happening. New customer stories, new people joining. And keep in mind, when new people join, they're going to have their own 90-day run. Now, yours might have started 2 months prior to it. So everybody's got different cycles that they're running on, and it's creating a lot of excitement constantly in your Facebook groups. A lot of stories are being shared. There's a lot of recognition going on. I mean, it's like a beehive. There's a lot of honey being made, a lot of buzzing going on. It's exciting. So here's the thing. Let's talk about some of the principles of a 90-day run. And that's what we have to look at. Let's talk about the principle, the first principle of this foundation in your first 30 days of a 90-day run. And that would be the principle of definition. The principle of definition. So what is the plan? What are you wanting to accomplish? If you're a new person, then you want to accomplish several things. Hopefully your sponsor has gone over this with you. Perhaps it's reaching that new rank level. I would say that would be whatever your first leadership rank is in your compensation plan, that's your goal. I know that's what happened to me 22 years ago when I did that 90-day run. I hit that first leadership rank my first month in the business. When the month was over, that's what I had achieved. And I think that is a realistic goal for you to do that. So it could be, again, a first rank, or for those of you who have been in your company now and you're ready, maybe you've been in for a few years, you're ready for a 90-day run, you're ready for that next rank. Then that would be your goal. And then think about this. Here's a part of the other principle of definition is how much time can you put in it? For new people, it might be different. They might have a job. So if you are the sponsor, you need to sit down or get on Zoom or FaceTime, whatever that is, and just have a talk with them about that, how much time they can commit to that first 30 days in the 90-day plan. Everybody is going to be different on this. So we don't have a one goal fits all. Or you got somebody who's the big dog, and maybe he's been in a few years, he's going to do a 90-day run. He's got all the time in the world. She's got all the time in the world. That may not be true for someone who has a job. Those kind of people are unrelatable. So the thing is, talk to that person and ask them, how much time do you have? Now, I want you friends to understand something that I can remember back prior to 22 years ago, my company before that, back in March of 1993, I can remember in that company that I had a daytime job. I didn't like it, I hated it. But I had to pay the bills, right? At the same time, I was getting my network marketing company or my business going. So when I finished my job, that's when I began my career. When I got home, I would eat something, then I'd go down the hall and close the door and start making phone calls. And sometimes I would spend hours back in that room making phone calls, talking to people about the product, talking to people about the business, setting up appointment times to meet with them, setting up times to do meetings, things like that. I was consistent. And that's the other thing about a 90-day run. Your first 30 days is in your foundation. When you're building your foundation, you can't show up now and then. You need to be consistent, even if it's only for an hour a day. So when you sponsor new people and you want to onboard them, then talk to them about this, their schedule, how much time they can give to it. You might be able to give 5 hours a day. Some of you might be able to, like in my case, when I did it 22 years ago, I was probably 14, 15 hours a day. I mean, I'd start working the East Coast and work all the way to the West Coast in California. So, 12 o'clock my time, at that time I was on the East Coast, that would be 12 o'clock, excuse me, reverse that. 12 o'clock in California was like 3 in the morning my time. It was crazy, but I busted it out. Most people are not going to be able to do that, okay? But that does not mean they cannot be successful. They can be. Again, when I had a part-time job back in March of 1993, in 18 months, I was job-free. In 18 months, I went into the house of my dreams. I did that in 18 months. And I was a part-timer. So I can't, overemphasize that enough, that when we talk about the principle of definition and defining our goals, keep in mind, my goal is not your goal. The people that you sponsor, their goals are not your goals. Every goal is different. Time constraints are different. So we have to be flexible with that. We don't need to ask them to do things they cannot do. We need them to do what they can do and then support them on it, and most importantly, feel good about it. We want them to feel good about it. We don't want to set them up for failure. I've seen this too much in the network marketing profession when people get so rank focused, and it's like you got this time period to hit the rank, and when that time period is up, for those that did not make it, they're considered failures. It's like, oh, well, there'll be another month. Instead of celebrating the fact that maybe they achieved 3/4 of that volume. Maybe they achieved 3/4 of the people that they wanted to hit at their goal. We need to celebrate all the growth that we've experienced in terms of volume, in terms of growth, in terms of people joining. But we don't need to get so fixed on a rank or fixed on specifics. If growth has been achieved, we need to celebrate that with them. We need to make sure they never feel like a failure. That's part of the problems with goal setting. The problem with goal setting is that if you don't hit the goal, you're a failure. To me, it's not healthy. It's not a healthy culture to have that in a team. What's important is that we need to teach our leaders to teach their leaders to teach their leaders that any growth that we achieved, if we didn't make our goal, is to be celebrated. This is most important when you're doing the 90-day run, because if they do not hit their goals in the first 30 days and we have this kind of unreasonable culture, then they're going to quit. They're saying, why should I do the second 30 in a 90-day? I didn't hit my goal for the first 30. I guess it's not going to work out for me. No. Our goal is that goal, but the goal is not so much the goal as the growth that we can achieve in that first 30 days. It's okay. I can remember the company I joined last when I was going for the top position. I remember the month I was going for it, it didn't happen. I didn't let that discourage me because I was celebrating the fact I had some awesome people in my team that were growing very well. So I knew for a fact I was going to reach it. So those are things that we need to keep in mind. So when we talk to our leaders, this principle of definition, how much time do you have? What is your goal? Is it income? Is it rank? Those are things that we need to talk about. Now here's the other thing. Here's principle 2. In your first 30 days of your 90-day plan, the principle of clarity. Now, you'd think, well, goals are clarity, right? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about getting clear on other things. And then understand this, that, your family, for example, you need to let others in your family know what you're going to do. If you have a spouse, you need to sit down and talk to your spouse about it. You need to sit down and talk to your children about it. Why? Because they're not going to see you as much as they used to. Not if you're going to give a big push in your business, and this is how you sell it. You mean I got to sell my spouse? Yeah. Don't sell your spouse, but talk to your spouse about why. And that is the fact that this is going to be such an important thing for your family financially. How will this impact your family if you have an extra, I don't know, a few $1,000s, $5,000, maybe 10, maybe more coming in, considering 2021 now, everything that's changing right now, wouldn't it be very important to put some serious thrust into your business so that you have money coming in and you're able to work from your home? Talk to your family about it. Just let them know that it's going to take some time away from maybe things that you did before. So maybe some of the other family members can help out with some of the things that you used to do around the house, because you're going to be on calls. You're going to be doing things. And the same thing with your friends. Maybe you used to hang out with them, do things with them. They may think, wow, what happened to him? I don't hear from him anymore. Just let everybody know. Say, hey, I'm doing a 90-day run. Just want you to know that during that period of time, I'm not going to be as available as I used to. It's very important. So that's the second principle, the principle of clarity, getting everybody clear that, hey, I'm not going to be as available as I once was. And it's not because I don't love you. I do love you. And that's the reason why I'm going to do this, because I do love you. You can tell your family members that. Now, here's the other thing. Here's the third principle, the principle of permission. Understand this. Why is the principle of permission important on your first 30 days of a 90-day run to create incredible speed? It's because you cannot do this alone. Network marketing is all about collaboration, all about collaboration. That means it's going to be a team effort. So if you have been in your company for a while and now you're ready to do a 90-day run, who do you need to talk to about it? Who would be wise to talk to about it? Your team leaders. If you're going to do a 90-day run, wouldn't it be great if they did a 90-day run and they talked to their leaders about doing a 90-day run? This is the time to talk to your leaders. Don't wait until January 1. This is the reason why I'm doing this call on Saturday, okay? This is the time. You don't wait till January 1. Hey, you want to do a 90-day run? Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Well, wait, I'm just waking up, you know. We partied so much over the holidays. Okay. So talk to your leaders. It's all about collaboration, getting everybody to work together and setting goals. What do you want to accomplish? Ask your leaders. You've got goals that you haven't accomplished. Maybe a rank position you want to hit. or now you're really ready to give it your all because you see all the craziness going on, all the disruption in business. There's going to be a lot of people looking for opportunities. There couldn't be a better time than now. There couldn't be a better time than now. This is the time to throw yourself into it. Again, your attitude and your sense of urgency really is what affects your team. If your team or people think that what you have is just going to be as good a year from now as it is today, you're not going to grow. No, that's right. This thing's going to be big. This thing's going to be huge. People are going to join it now and leverage on it. That'll be the next generation of millionaires. My only question to you is, do you want to be one of them? That's right. Urgency. The words that come out of your mouth, but it's also the feelings that are behind the words when you talk to people, when you talk to your leaders. John, there couldn't be a better time than now. Look at all the economic disruption that's going on. Do you have some goals? Is there an income you want to achieve, a rank position you want to make? This is the time to do it, John. There's going to be a lot of people looking for opportunities. Do you want to run with me? Yeah, man, I'll run with you. Okay, good. Let's talk about your goals. Talk to your leaders. Get them to talk to your leader. Get as many people on board for a 90-day run. Say, starting January 1st, we hit the ground, man. Get it planned. And if you're a new person coming in, that's fine. When you onboard new leaders, you want to get them moving as well. Again, the speed of the leader influences the speed of the team. You have a new team then this is what you need to do. You need to influence them. Slow go doesn't work. We're not going to walk to San Francisco from New York City. We're going to get on a plane and be there in a few hours, right? And that's the way you want to treat this business. You want to show them how to do it in a few hours. Tenacity, attitude, sense of urgency. It's those things. It's not so much the skill set. It's those things right there that make people move and move fast. And that's important. So the thing is, but then let's say that we talk about this for part-time people, maybe they don't have as much time. We'll go back to that again. Ask them, if maybe they got vacation time coming up, could they use that to put in more time into their business to launch it? They could look at that. If not, it doesn't matter. Go back to what I said in what I did in the year 1993. It's consistency, and if all you can do is put in an hour a day in your business, I'll tell you, I see more productivity coming from part-time people than I do a lot of full-time people, because they are very possessive of their time. They're very careful where they spend it and who they spend it on. So just work with them on it. I want them to feel good about it. Just remember, massive action gets massive results. And whether you're part-time or full-time, you can have massive action and get massive results. I know I did. I worked my way out of that job in 18 months. I began a career from that point forward that has propelled me to this day. To this day. But I can tell you that what I did 22 years ago, that first 90-day run, incredible. Because just like the space shuttle, once it escapes gravity, it needs very little fuel to run on. And it's really true. When you do a 90-day push, if you do it, just hit it hard, it'll propel you for decades like it has me. When people ask me the question, well, what did you make your first month? My answer is, I don't know. I'm still making it. I'm still making it, because if you divide out the time, all those months, into my earnings, it keeps going up every month. Think about it. Perspective is everything. It really is. Because most people have never been in a company 22 years. Most people in network marketing haven't been in a company a year, and they're saddling another horse. We can't circumvent the process, but we can do a 90-day push that will have incredible results in your business. So here's the fourth principle, and that is the principle of respect. The principle of respect is about understanding that your goals are not their goals. And that's what we have to keep in mind. When I threw myself into this 22 years ago, I had massive goals. And I always had to remind myself, hey Jeff, they are not you, okay? Maybe they're new in this business. They're still trying to wrap their head around it. Or maybe they've had a lot of failures, so they're a little, they're gun shy or shell shocked. They're still trying to get over some things. Just work with them. So just be patient with people. Everybody's different, and their circumstances are different. Let's keep that in mind. Then there's the fifth is the principle of timing. So many that join you and join your team are going to be on different 90-day cycles. It's exciting because, again, as I mentioned before, a lot of things will be going on in your business. In your Facebook groups, you should encourage everybody to share what's going on. Somebody got their first customer. Congratulations, awesome. Or they just got their first leader that's really committed to doing the business. Again, companies recognize results, but great leaders recognize effort. Companies recognize results, great leaders recognize effort. That recognition is what creates great results later. Pour it on. Pour it on. Wise people do that. So different people are going to be joining at different times. Again, encourage them to have their own 90-day run. Have your Facebook groups going crazy with stories, sharing what's going on, sharing the excitement. People want to hear it. So let's talk about just briefly, month one. And month one is that we're going to be heavy on recruiting. You're going to be spending most of your time just prospecting. If you're new, getting started, 100% of your time is going to be focused on prospecting and recruiting. If you've been in your business now for longer than that, let's say 6 months, a year, 2 years, your time's going to be divided into prospecting, recruiting, and some of that other time, because you don't want to neglect your leaders, you're going to have to give your time to your leaders. And so especially the second month is going to be more divided. And then the third is going to be helping new leaders in your organization to achieve ranked positions. So the action plan for month one is find out who's with you and who's not. Who's going to be on board for a 90-day run? If you're new, the people that you sponsor, you want them to join you and have their own 90-day run. Again, I want to say that if it's a week before the month, we're talking about 3 full calendar months. So you can still use that first week to prepare and go ahead and throw yourself into it. It's a little more time, but it's all right. Get your feet wet. Just get going. So here's the thing. And then number 2 is form an inner circle. With those committed leaders, have regular Zoom calls. You can have maybe a chat. It can be in WhatsApp. It can be in Facebook group, but have a chat on what's going on in your inner circle group. That is, those people that are totally committed, leaders that are really in this. Again, share your experiences in your Facebook group that everybody can see. But especially, you need to communicate with your core leaders every day. Those people, and who's a core leader? Who's a driver? The people that are totally committed to this. You're going to know because they're going to be calling you anyway or messaging you every day anyway about what's going on, what's happening in their business. Again, number three, have a Facebook group where you can do your trainings, you can do live calls, and then you can have different calls based on certain level of experience. For example, new people that are joining are new. But when you have your core leaders, if you want to have a core leader meeting at least once a week, nothing wrong with that. Because they talk a different language. They have experience behind themselves, and so what they want to do is bounce off one another things that are working for them. They want to share that. For new people coming in, that may not be relevant language because they're still trying to wrap their heads around getting their first customer or their first distributor sponsored. So, but I'm not saying separate the two. I think it's really great to have leadership in your Facebook group with those new people so that they can hear stories, hear what's going on, and be inspired. I think it's great. I really do. I think it's great. It's awesome. It's sort of like if you remember, like with Ray Higdon. Ray has got Rank Makers, which is for everybody, but most of the people that are in Rank Makers are going to be people that are very new to network marketing. A lot of them are very new. And then you have the what is that? The Inner Circle group, and then there's Top Earner Club. And Top Earner Club is made up of 6 and possibly 7-figure earners. So they have a different criteria of what they talk about, but for sure, people that are in the Top Earner Club are also what? In Rank Makers. I'm in Rank Makers. So different criteria, different language, different things are shared. It's fine. It's all about pushing people to that next level of growth in their business, and a 90-day plan really helps somebody to do that. So another thing is that we want to help in that first 30 days is help that person increase in volume, increase their number of distributors that I'm using the word distributor. Not all companies use that. Some might want to call it affiliate members, whatever the language is. You want to help that person sponsor new leaders in your business. I can tell you that my first 2 years in the business, I didn't sponsor more than 72, and that was it. And after that, I didn't sponsor anyone for more than a decade. More than a decade. Why? Because I didn't need to. Because I learned in that period of time how important it was to drop down into my legs and do what I call tap rooting. And that is, I drop down there, so maybe somebody's 10 levels down, somebody who really has desire, urgency, a big why they need to do this, and I would run with that person. And what that would do is that would create so much volume that the heat would go up and everybody in the upline would scramble because they're trying to figure out how to get paid for it or get paid on that volume that we're doing. What would happen is all these levels that you have between that person and where you are or where I was at the time, all of a sudden, a lot of volume started filling up on all those levels. Why? Because somebody down, 10 levels down, took off and created a lot of volume, and they want to get paid on it. They all woke up, they all got busy. That was something that I learned to do, and that especially you do the second month. But what we want to do is the first month, get that new person to at least reach out that first 30 days and sponsor 10 individuals. Some are going to be full-time, part-time, no time. That's what I found out. Full-time, part-time, no time. No time means they're customers. Full-time, those people right now, you're going to find a lot of people have more time now than before they never had. And then a lot more are going to be part-time. What you want to achieve out of those 10 that you sponsor your first 30 days, find 2 to 3 that want to be committed to this business, that want to do this business. That's your goal. And then get them to duplicate the same. So our goal is that in the first 30 days is we want to help that person. And if you can sponsor more than 10, great. And again, we're talking about a burst of activity. We're not talking about, doing this when we think of it, when we want to get around to it. No. A 90-day plan is total focus. It's throwing yourself into it. And even if you're part-time and you have a job, it doesn't matter. Just like me in 1993, when my job ended at the end of the day, my career began. That was my attitude. So it was consistency that made it work. And then I was able to sponsor people. And when I reflect back 22 years ago when I did my first 30 days, that's exactly what I did. I sponsored more than 10. I probably sponsored about 23 individuals my first 30 days. Some were customers, some were drivers. And when I say drivers, everybody has different levels of desire, right? So you have some that, they're what they're looking to make is just additional money, maybe $1,000 a month. Some are saying, hey, I don't ever want to have a job again. I want to do this. I want a career. You will find those. You're going to find more of those now than ever before in the last 2 decades of network marketing. Why? Because again, COVID has shaken, get my words to work. It has shaken up everything. There's been so much disruption in businesses destroyed. People that make good money, and now because of all these lockdowns in these states, it's ruined their businesses. Some are going to be fleeing states, those same states that have nothing but high taxes. I mean, very high taxes. They're going to go to other states. It's going to be a better tax situation for them, opportunity situation for them. But the thing is, this is going to be the time where you're going to see more people like that out there than ever that are going to be open for opportunity. So again, when I say I sponsor around 22, my first month in the business, for you to sponsor at least 10 is very doable. It's very doable. Again, some are going to be customers, some are going to want just additional money, and others are going to be looking for a major career change like I was. You're going to see more of those people. We have not seen a generation of people like that in decades that we're going to see now, which is all the more reason why you would do a 90-day run now. I mean, eventually this is going to normalize, right? I mean, COVID is going to go away. It's not going to stay here forever, right? So I would say in 2021, you're going to see, because of the vaccines and all that, you're going to see a lot of flatlining going on. It's still going to take time. It's still going to take time. My question is, what are you going to do in this period of time? Are you going to take advantage of this period of time? I would take advantage of it, because people are looking, people are open. And this is the time. If you ever wanted to push your business to a level that you've never been able to push it before, then this is the time. And so January begins your first 30 days. If you're a new person, January begins your first 30 days in identifying leaders and identifying people like yourself that you want freedom. You're going to see these words are very challenged by some of these, what do you call them? These socialists that we see going on in our country now, these fascists. It was funny. I read an article. It said financial freedom is an income claim. They're trying to define what we can and can't say now in this country. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a lot of people challenging that, because this is going to be the time that people are going to want it more than ever, because their confidence, their beliefs in what they thought was security has been shaken. Not just in government, it's in their own businesses, in their own lives. And they're going to want to see change. So this is an incredible time right now. You have this incredible opportunity. So here's what I'm going to do. So then tomorrow, and I apologize, I set my goal for 1 o'clock, and then we just got electricity back here yesterday, and anyway, things were crazy this morning. So what I'd like to do tomorrow is set that same goal, and I'm going to talk about month 2 on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Month 2 in your 90-day run. What are you going to do? What should you do? Where should you spend your time? What are the activities that you're going to be doing? And then Monday night, as I normally do a Monday night call, I'm going to share your 3rd month in your 90-day plan. What are you going to be doing? So it'll be fun, and then it'll get you ready for what you got to do come January 1, right? January 1, that's launch. That's the shuttle. It's just belling. Right now, it's just, you see all that smoke coming out of the shuttle right now. It's like, oh man, this thing's getting ready to take off. To look at all that millions of pounds of fuel. That's right. It takes a lot of effort. But remember, success loves speed. It loves speed. Slow go is boring. You're never going to keep people on your team if you don't have bursts of energy at different times. You can't do a 90-day run every 90 days. I get that. You burn out, right? So the thing is, but after you do your own, then you're going to find yourself supporting a lot of people that are doing their own. The results are going to be, you're going to have incredible teams. And then later on, if you want to do one again, do one again. I'll never forget my first one, because here's the thing. You only get, when you're starting, and I don't want you to feel bad if you've been in your company for years and now you're finally going to do this, okay? Because again, if you are that person, that's okay. That's still a story. But what I tell new people is, what kind of story do you want your first 90 days? Because people are going to ask you later, what did you do your first 90 days? I am so glad I threw myself into it. The results were, after my 90-day run 22 years ago, only having a phone, not a computer, a phone and a list. After 90 days, I had 800 people in my team. I hit the top position of the compensation plan. I didn't even know I hit the top. They called me and said, hey man, you hit the top. I said, I did? You know, that's how it works. I was just focused on supporting leaders, talking to new people, sponsoring. That was it. I threw myself massively into the work. And then when the dust cleared after 90 days, I had 800 people reach the top position in the compensation plan. Nobody had done that in the company before. Nobody in the history of the company. It was an incredible moment. But guess what? That forever is my 90-day story. And that's what I tell new people. What's your 90-day story going to be like? What would you like it to be like if you're a new person? And if you're a person that's been in your company, maybe you've been using the product and you just didn't commit to the business until now, then now is your 90-day story. So think about that story. What would you want it said about yourself? Think about it. What would inspire you and what would inspire others? And if you've been in your company now and for years and you've had success, but you're ready to go to the next level, that's still going to be a great story. So what kind of story is it going to be? This is your chance to make it happen. But don't go into January 1st with not any goals, with no team goal, with not waking your leaders up to where you are, and put it in perspective as to where we are right now, the opportunities in front of us, like I just mentioned. Why not leverage on that? This is your chance. So think about those things, and then tomorrow look forward to getting back with you. And hey, she's got a great story. So many of you do. So now, I hope you got some value out of this. If you did, share it, and then I'll just see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock on Sunday. That's Eastern, and then on Monday night, I'll share the last part of that 90-day run, what it looks like, and then how you can blow your teams out, man. and just, just leverage on this time that we live, where people are looking for opportunity. Some of the naysayers, the people that are critical of our profession, they hate that we've had such great growth in 2020. They really hate it. But you know what? We did not create COVID. What we did was we did the very thing that Donald Trump asked people to do, and that is find a way to work from home, find a way to be independent, find a way to own your own life. That's the very definition of freedom, man, when you own your own life. So I'll see you tomorrow, and thanks again for joining me on this live call. Have an awesome Saturday with your family. Bye-bye.